Take a look at Dak Prescott. Look at his workout. This is what he does.
Zach Martin, DeMarcus Lawrence, Jalen Smith, La'el Collins, Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper. 6 key Dallas Cowboys received long-term contracts from Jerry Jones over the last 2 years. 4 of them, Martin, Lawrence, Elliott, and Cooper, became the highest paid or second highest paid players at their respective position. Dak Prescott won't be added to that list this season, and maybe not ever, as the quarterback failed to come to terms with the Cowboys and Jones ahead of the franchise tag extension deadline.
No deal!
As a result, Prescott will play on a 1-year tender in 2020, putting his long-term future in Big D inexplicably in doubt. We don't know everything about the failed negotiations between Dak and Dallas, but one thing we do know is that the Cowboys screwed this up big time, and it could ultimately send them back to square one at the quarterback position real soon. It wasn't long ago that the Cowboys watched a division rival mismanage its own quarterback situation.
You like that? You like that?
In 2016, Washington used the franchise tag on Kirk Cousins. As a refresher, the tag is valued at either 120% of the player's previous salary or the average of the top 5 salaries at the position, whichever is greater. Each team can franchise tag one player before free agency begins, and has until mid-July to replace the tag with a multi-year contract. In Cousins' case, he and Washington couldn't strike a deal, so he wound up playing on the tag, a fully guaranteed 1-year contract for $20 million. In 2017, Washington franchised him again, and he earned 120% of his previous salary, as rules stipulate for players tagged in consecutive years. That took him to $24 million. By 2018, Washington didn't have the cap space to stomach a third tag, which jumps to 144% of the player's most recent salary, and for Cousins would have been valued at $34.5 million. At that point, there was no incentive for Cousins to accept any offer below $34.5 million per year because he knew the team had to tag him at that price to keep him from reaching free agency. Cousins hit the open market and a couple days later was introduced as the newest member of the Minnesota Vikings.
I got 3 words for you. You like that?
Prescott appears headed down a similar path. He'll play on the tag in 2020 and take home $31.4 million. If he's tagged again in 2021, his tender will zip past $37 million, meaning that's probably where negotiations next year begin.
I gotta do it, man.
As of now, Patrick Mahomes would be the only quarterback with a higher annual average salary. And if the Cowboys dared to drag out the process and franchise Prescott for a third time in 2022, the tag would cost over $53 million. Given the uncertain future of the salary cap, new TV deals in 2022 will inflate league revenues, but losses during the COVID-19 pandemic will deflate them in the meantime. $53 million will likely be out of the question for Dallas. What the Cowboys couldn't control in this situation is the fact that players on rookie contracts can't sign extensions before the end of their 3rd season. Most QBs who sign extensions after 3 years are former first-round picks, and they're eager to sign for 2 reasons. Number 1, get off the rookie scale contracts that pay them well below market value ASAP. And 2, do so before their teams can exercise a 5th-year option that keeps them away from free agency, the ultimate payday for an extra year. And here's where Dak is different. Remember, he was a 4th-round pick out of Mississippi State, leaving the Cowboys with no team option past his 4th season in 2019. And the 2-time Pro Bowler made only $4 million over his first 4 seasons. That's how much money the Lakers' JaVale McGee is getting this year alone.
Curry feeds JaVale McGee. McGee inside.
Dak wasn't going to give the Cowboys any bargains after year 3 with free agency around the corner. What the Cowboys could control was the quality of offers they made over the last 12 months, and their stubbornness about contract length. Dallas was reportedly adamant about a 5-year deal. presumably to help spread out the cap hits. Dak was reportedly insistent on a 4-year deal, presumably so he'd be closer to free agency and another big contract. Considering how the Cowboys twisted and turned to make their other high-priced deals work, it's puzzling they wouldn't do the same for the most important player on their team. Yeah, you heard me. For weeks leading up to the extension deadline, Prescott and the Cowboys reportedly didn't speak. And while Dak's taking the team-first approach publicly, one could read his brother's reaction as an indication of what's simmering below the surface. Where exactly Prescott belongs on the NFL's quarterback pecking order is up for debate, but he checks off all the major boxes that a team would want in its QB. Last season, he finished second in passing yards, fourth in passing touchdowns, and he led the Cowboys to the #1 ranked offense in the league.
33. Yes, they do. A lot of time for Prescott. Gonna launch it. Going deep down the field. And it's caught for the touchdown!
And Dak thrives when the pressure is on. Since 2016, he's engineered 8 fourth-quarter comebacks, tied for 5th most in the league. He's spearheaded 14 game-winning drives in the 4th quarter or overtime, tied for 2nd most in the league. Can he air it out? His passer rating on throws 20 yards or more down the field has ranked in the top 10 in each of his 4 seasons. What about playing under duress? When facing pressure, Prescott has posted a top 10 passer rating in 3 of 4 years. Dak has thrown 97 touchdowns against 36 interceptions. His career ratio of 2.69 TDs per interception ranks 5th among active quarterbacks. Here's what could really haunt the Cowboys going forward. Prescott is entering his prime, and his 2020 supporting cast is the best he's ever had. Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup are both coming off 1,000-yard seasons. CeeDee Lamb was a first-round pick with loads of upside. And Blake Jarwin is way more athletic than Jason Witten was last year. Plus, there's Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield to take pressure off the passing game. It's very likely Prescott will have his best year in 2020, pushing his asking price even higher. In NFL history, only 2 quarterbacks have played on the franchise tag. Cousins is one, Drew Brees is the other. While their circumstances were different, both ultimately left their teams for greener pastures. Could you imagine Cowboys fans watching Dak win a Super Bowl somewhere else? So as Dak gets ready to become only the 3rd QB to play on the tag, the question is, can the Cowboys salvage this situation and keep their quarterback long term, or is Prescott getting ready to dance his way out of Dallas? Thanks for watching. If you liked this video and want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button.